I'm Kate. I work in small local media and I write for RTE and BBC and the Farmers Journal and anybody else who will print my words, essentially. Michelle?
I'm Michelle and I write psychological thrillers. I have a background in journalism, freelance journalism.
We host a podcast called Natter with Kate and Michelle, which is why we're here today, which Jack produces for us, thankfully. Thankfully for us. I'm not quite sure Jack feels as thankful at times. But anyway, it's an honest, no notions podcast about books, people and authors and the stories behind the stories. We produce a fortnightly episode in several seasons a year. Top national and international authors. We've been lucky enough to interview people like Janine Cummins, Linda LaPlante, Andrea Mara, Liz Nugent, so many more authors of both fiction and non-fiction and writers of non-fiction who we've been lucky enough to give us their time. Michelle can write, she can write 90,000 words. I can write 400, but we're both writers. So that was no issue. I do broadcast a little bit, but mainly pre-recorded stuff. So we had the horror of live broadcasting for a start. We had the imposter syndrome of who do you think you are? And that's so we were really outside of our comfort zone, but that's ever before the technical side. And, you know,
Luckily, we were quite naive as to how much was actually involved in the technical side.
Great. Yeah. Well, actually, thanks to Jack, I suppose that naivety, we've remained naive because, you know, when we were first looking at it, we were looking at this and that and how do we do this and how do we do that? And I was saying, oh no, you know, it was scary. We had the fear, but before we could ever get into that, lucky enough, we'd got a relationship with you, Jack, and you took over all that for us. And it has been seamless.
Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure, really, hasn't it?
It really has. Yeah,
so we felt the fear. We felt the fear and you did it anyway, Jack. I think that was it.
I suppose, Jack, you basically took all of that worry from us and you took over all the technical aspects of setting up, hosting, running the podcast, which we could never have done.
No.
It would have taken us forever, an incredible amount of stress, and we still wouldn't have done it properly. This is everything from advice on the optimal platform to use, the equipment to purchase, creating a logo,
that
podcast
was
logo.
Extra stuff like that was massive.
Providing video and audio files and social media clips, and all very timely and very professionally done. Can't overstate the professional, you know. I mean, you do look very young. You have a very youthful appearance, but you have a great head on your shoulders and you're as professional as anybody I've ever dealt with.
The service is flawless.
Yeah.
Every series has seen a growth in our confidence, in listenership, in the professionalism. I suppose I feel at the start we were paddling along. It's like the swan, isn't it? We were gliding along and underneath, paddling like mad. I think my legs are paddling a little bit less every episode.
Definitely.
I'm not quite sure how your legs are going, Jack. But anyway, you see, we don't have the stress. You're carrying the stress for us. And that's the thing with us using your platform, because we know that if there's a breakdown in the transmission, in the internet and anything else, you will come on and you're very calm and cool, like you're very, very unflustered. And what I do notice is after every podcast, when we send our little thank you note to our guests, it invariably comes back with please pass on my thanks to Jack too. You're very much a part of it. And so that, you know, you're so in the background, you're not even on the call with us and the authors yet. They all know your name and they all know what you do. So that speaks volumes to what Trend 7 is doing in its quiet way. You're calm, you're unflustered, you're professional. So you've allowed us to concentrate on the quality of the interview rather than having to worry about the nuts and bolts. So it allows us to be free. We can laugh. We can do whatever we want. We don't have to think about whether this is recording. Is it uploading? Is there a problem? Adele Coffee is frozen. Oh my God, is it going through? Because we know that if it is, you will appear on the screen and say, Adele, sorry to bother you. Can we just stop and go back and do that bit again? Or on occasion when we've had to go over to Zoom because the quality of the internet connection wasn't strong enough with the person we were interviewing, nothing to do with you or your platform, Jack. And you very calmly just said, hey, this is fine. Sometimes we need to do this. I'm going to send you the Zoom link. Whereas I'd be saying, how do I get that link?
Yes.
God, have we got Zoom installed?
It would be, it wouldn't happen.
So it's grown and getting a sponsor. I mean, that's not that's not coincidental either, Jack, because without that level of professionalism, there's no big company is going to come anywhere near. There's nothing more crowded than the podcast space. And the fact that the first people we went to look for sponsorship, there's only 2 chains of bookstores in Ireland, and we're sponsored by one of them. And your part in that is not coincidental to that sponsorship.
Because we had done one season with Jack without a sponsor before we approached a sponsor, and they were judging us off the production of the first series, which was our very first, stab at it, but it was still very professional because of your
Jack.
input. Yeah. We would say that our experience has been overwhelmingly positive, much more so than we could ever have imagined.
Yeah.
You're extremely knowledgeable in the podcasting and social media marketing space. You're the consummate professional. And, it's a pleasure to introduce you. We have, some really top international, national authors, and we're always very proud to introduce them to you because you reflect our podcast so well.
Beautiful.
With your professionalism.
You swear she was a writer.
And we already have recommended you to other businesses.
Yeah.
And you were in fact recommended to us by another business. So yes.
No, it's going to be really exciting, Jack, to see where you go, because this is such a fledgling space, even though I know there are so many podcasts about, but this is the way of the future. We had a conversation with somebody this morning. We were talking about video killed the radio star, and these things don't. We all just go on hand in hand. And the more media there is from different, it's good for everybody. It grows it all in different ways. But this is an area that is in its infancy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where Trend 7 Media ends up. And I hope we remain part of your journey for a long time, Jack, because it's a pleasure.